this is going to be a job for the next 3 or 4 days. I already started digging on it, but we got to get the water to run away from this house. There was like a ramp system there that we took off this morning. Basically, we got to put a foundation drain in around the bottom of this, dig it out so they can skirt it, but leave enough room so they can put a foundation drain in. There was drains coming out of the house because it's just a dugout cellar, but that's just a drain so water wouldn't stay under there, but we're going to try to get it so water doesn't go under there. When they fix the rod on the bottom of the house, they're going to reskirt it with a cement board. But like I said, we're going to try to put foundation drains to get this to drain away. We were told the leach field was out that way. I'm guessing, pretty much I knew that was a tank. Pushed into it with a piece of rebar and found it. But I believe this leach field on this front lawn, which isn't good because all this vegetation, I'm going to guess, is where the leach field is. So we're going to try to find that, fix the pipe I broke. Probably going to change this whole pipe to Schedule 40 too, so I hate that thin wall stuff. But found a tank this morning, and like I said, we got to dig around. We're also going to dig a new trench because I don't like this propane tank, the propane line that's run. I don't think we're going to find it was done right, but I could be wrong. I know I don't like the way it's connected to the house, but we're going to be digging around so they can replace the skirting. Also, same thing, we're going to put a foundation drain. This is a dirt road, but it is a town road, and they put pretty good drainage on it, so he did find out we're allowed to run it out to that, where it's the lowest point. It's going there anyways, it's just going through the underneath of this camp. So, but I just figured I'd do a quick taping. I'll show you where we're going to be for the next 3 or 4 days. We're finding all kinds of little buried treasures all over the place, but like right here, we had a major, like 4 or 5 inch rainstorm probably a month ago, and this was filled with water. So we need to get the water to not run through the bottom of the house, around it, go around it. How much we're probably going to dig. I'm going to probably do a 4 foot wide path here so that they have plenty of room to work on the skirting. So what I'm running into, they put pavers. This is actually poured concrete, I think. This hopefully it doesn't come out too bad. But all right, I just figured I'd take a starting point. Like I said, I'd already done a bunch of digging this morning before I forgot the camera. So, but there was all kinds of structures on this property, and I think this used to be a Quonset hut. We're not hauling any of this off, we're just going to pile it. We're going to put the dirty stuff in one pile and then with good gravel in another, so when he gets ready to bring it back in to backfill, he can. But I'm here just to do the major digging. All right, we'll get back to it. Yeah, what you couldn't see, I've already dug. There was a couple good sized trees here that I dug out that were on either side of this entryway. But the gentleman that had this was an older guy. I believe the ramp was probably for him to get in and out a little easier. But like I said, I believe we're going to be ripping apart this whole front yard, because if that's the leach field, I want to get rid of all that vegetation. So what we found out, this was probably back in the 70s. Someone put a French drain all the way from the house down to, which makes sense. Problem we found out is they were told when they bought it the leach field was out back. We're finding out now that the tank is exactly where I thought it was, but the pipe's running out this end of it, goes around onto that front lawn, which has got all that vegetation, those trees. So I think we're going to be ripping all that vegetation out. I got to talk to the homeowner, but that's probably one of the most important things. Is no one seemed to, even the I believe it was the son probably of the guy that owned it originally. I believe everybody thought it was out back. So didn't I, actually, because of the way the vent was. But they've got it kind of, I don't like the way it's run. It's not run with the right pipe. But my son-in-law, he's done a lot more of the septic stuff than I have. He seemed to think it's probably like a 70s system. It's got a 1,000-gallon tank, so 70s, early 80s, but the way it's the pipe that they used and stuff. But I just figured I'd take a shot. We're gonna grub this all out, put the stuff, all this nasty stuff's going out back into a pile for now. But, all right, that's what we're gonna be doing. Alright, this is where we're at this point, finding all kinds of buried treasures. This is where we're at. We're gonna break for lunch. This is the mess we make in 4 hours. All that brush stuff you're seeing, he's trying to get to the front lawn, but that's what was on the edge of the leach field, so we're guessing we're gonna look at that, see how bad it is. But they, over the years, they've done a lot of plantings over the leach fields, which is never a good idea. We'll see how far the root system, but it's actually buried pretty deep on the front lawn, so we're hoping when we scrape the top off that we get most of the root system and it didn't get into the sand or the pipe. I believe this is an old stone system with sand over the stone, and it looks to me like they backfilled the front yard with a pretty clean sand, so that's probably a good thing. We'll find out. I just figured I'd take a video at this point. We're back up here. Doing some digging. I got to move a lot of dirt today, by myself today, but my son-in-law will be back with me tomorrow. He's got a couple days where he can help me. It works out good when I'm this far away from home. I'm basically about probably hour away, hour and 15 if you're pulling equipment. But this was an original ditch that was here. It's just filled in over the years, so I dug it back out. That will probably get filled with erosion stone when we're done, but we're going to run the foundation drains from this side of the house this way. There's another culvert over there, so I think I'm going to run that over there. There's a boulder behind that tree in front of the house, pretty good sized boulder. I'm going to try to get it today I just got to change the bucket, take the clean out bucket off, so my 24-inch bucket I think will fit in there better, but I'm going to try to dig that. I would actually rather have everything just run out this way. If we can do that, we got to reset this sewer pipe that runs from the tank to what they used to call a leach field, but I call it a gray water tank. I mean, you still see them a lot on washing machines and stuff like that, sinks. Someone had the sink. But this is I want to say this is probably a 50s originally, you know, 50s, late 50s camp. But there's just water lines. There's water lines run above that sewer line. I actually came here this morning expecting to see a flat tire on my tractor because I was getting into so much crap. Just driving across that soft material, the stuff that I was twisting up out of the ground, blows my mind. I'm going to guess years ago there weren't a dump up here neither, because you see a lot of remnants of where they used to burn. Like there's old soup cans and stuff like that. So, but we're going to continue digging around the house over here. This corner I'm going to dig out to the point where the outside is lower than the house, so if something puddles, it puddles away from the house instead of on the house. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's an old driveway or years ago someone came up with the idea of putting hot top to get the water to run away from the house, but you can see the little pieces. This, from that staircase this way, was all hot topped, and I think you're going to find whoever did the driveway, it's starting to bust up now, but whoever did that back in the day knew what they were doing. I can tell by the way it's digging up and how thick it is. I think there was probably whoever did that talked them into doing this hot topping. I should say the original guy that did the driveway, that's been coated once since, but I think we're going to find this hot top that probably goes all the way out to the street. So I think someone came up with the idea of hot topping it, pitching the water out towards the road. It went all the way up this side of the house, and like I said, this weren't thick, but this whole area I think was shaped so that the water would pool and go out front. So we're digging all that out. I weren't expecting to run into that much up top, but especially out back. Originally we thought maybe it was an old driveway. Maybe this was the old driveway. That doesn't make sense neither, because the old dug well is right here. The dug well's there. They put the new artesian in right there. But we're going to be back on this. I just figured I'd take a shot right now. I'm not going to tape what I'm doing probably for the next 2 or 3 hours, because it's basically just moving dirt. And then I'll get back to where we're digging something that might be worth putting on camera. But I know I get sick of watching someone move dirt for 2 hours. Being in between buildings. This ain't bad though. Still rather be out in an open area, but alright, we moved that pile of stuff. We still got to move some of that good gravel too, because I want to belly that out a little bit so the water runs to the outside of the house. It's just unbelievable how many like French drains they put in over the years, all this white pipe. I'm literally probably going to have 80 pieces of this, 80 10-foot pieces, just that were on the outskirts. But I just figured I'd take a shot at this point. It's starting to rain pretty good. I hate moving piles of dirt with an excavator. Like, you gotta grab it, turn around, dump it, grab it, turn around, dump it. But it's getting so that you have a hard time moving here with a rubber tired machine. And I'm also turning up stuff that's like chunks of steel. I'm just afraid of cutting a tire, so I'd rather do it this way. It takes a little longer, but they're talking heavy rains, I think, for the rest of today. So pretty much I'm probably going to be in the excavator for the good part of it today. Out front I got some stuff I think I can move with the tractor without a big issue, but getting it to where I got to put it is the problem. I'm finding some pretty good rocks in here. I've been digging out. Someone did put somewhat of a sonotube one time or another. Most of this is just sitting on blocks. They're going to re-level it, but just trying to get it dug so where they can get underneath it. But I want to leave it where he can take a shovel and a rake and get things adjusted. But from the door out seems to be a lot of boulders. I don't know why. Kind of weird. I didn't run into them anyplace else, but right here it's crazy. But we're gonna dig some of them out. Ain't something you want to run into with a shovel. I actually thought there was a piece of ledge, but I think it is rock. I could be wrong too. I've been wrong once. taken brand new homes and dug them out because someone built them without a foundation drain and they had water after, well, water issues after, I should say. I want to show, like, the some excavators have it, some don't. This one has the ability to turn just to boom one way or the other, so you can get into tighter places. Like I said, without the whole cab. But this is, I've owned this. I'm like, it's a good feature to have. A lot of your minis come with it, but like, this is literally probably the 5th or 6th time I've used it, and I think every time it's been because you're near a foundation or trying to get around a tree or something. But I just wanted to show people it's kind of a cool feature. Other than that, today I think we're going to call it quits because it keeps downpouring and it stops, downpour, stop. Into more hot top there. I don't know who came up with the brain cramp, but a lot of this fill was brought in. I can tell by looking at the difference in the color. But someone came up with the idea of filling around this, which I think was the reason it's all rotten out. That hot top that I'm hitting now is probably a foot below the dirt line that was here, because I've already hauled out all the organics up the top. It's been taking gravel, so I mean, they literally had the water running towards the house. I understand the hot top thing years ago, because you can shape it and make water run away from it, but I don't understand why someone would backfill against that, and it takes the ventilation away. Mobile homes are the same way. They'll rot right out if you don't let them breathe. That's why the skirting has vent panels. I think a lot of the piping I found around was the homeowner here for quite a few years was a contractor. Carpenter, and I don't think he had tractors and stuff, but like, he tried all kinds of like hand digging French drains, and I'm gonna say someone came up with the brainstorm of backfilling, because like I said, this is like you can tell that was probably a 3/4 gravel when it got brought in here, and everything else is pretty rough digging, so that's not original material that was here. It's dug out. I believe I've got it to where he can use a rake and shovel and get the water to go around his house. He wants to do he's going to do the skirting, make sure the house underneath the house is decent, but they're going to put a cement board skirting on it, replace some clapboard, and then they're going to put a foundation drain around it. I'm going to explain. Pretty much I'm going to tell him how I would do it. I think he's going to follow. But we'll come back tomorrow and probably, it's just a bunch of cleanup now. I got all the boulders, everything big, all the root system. It's all down to a gravel that's pretty well picked through. I even picked most of the rocks out of it for him. The only place he's got to dig quite a bit is around the septic tank to get a pipe underneath. The pipe that goes into the septic for the foundation drain, but I don't want to mess with that. But it's too close to the house even for the small bucket. So, but tomorrow we'll be back and then finish up this video. Right, we're getting wrapped up on this, our part of it anyways. Digging around so he can reskirt it. We ended up replacing the pipe that was broke. through a vent on it. I think it'll work better. He's gonna haul the tractor out and then come back up. He's takes probably an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours, but he'll be back. I'm gonna dig another small retention pond, but overall it looks horrible, but it's not. There's some puddles because we've had major downpours when I was digging this yesterday, so but we got it low enough so he can fill. He's going to basically put a double foundation pipe drain all the way around the house. He's going to have to dig it underneath this one to get it to go in to the ditch on the side of the road, or I should say side of the driveway, and that goes down to the culvert. It's actually a pretty good basin there too that goes across the road, but that's the remnants of one that someone did years ago that failed. They didn't do it right. They let the water go under the house, and then they put these in to let it out from under the house. My thought is I'm going to show them how to do it. They're going to put a cement board skirting on this, so it's all pressure treated, fix the bottom of the rot. The sill plates are pretty much tender all the way around, and then they're going to put a piece of rubber roofing, and then put a stone and double pipe so that the water's coming here whether you want it to or not, because everything's uphill from here. You just got to get it so it comes down and goes around the house instead of through it like it's been. We got it so that they want to be able to just deal with a shovel and rake, so we got all the rocks taken out. This ain't all of them, but these rocks here, this pile of rocks right here all came from an area, I'm going to say 12 or 14 feet of this ditch right here was those rocks. So he would have had a miserable experience trying to thinking he was going to, well, they were originally thinking a couple guys could come up here with shovels and do this, but I'm like, no. Overall, I just figured I'd take a shot. Back here, there ain't a lot more I can do because the more I play around with it, we probably got a couple inches of rain yesterday that's coming down. This was just a mess. There was an old shelter, Logic shelter thing here with rotted sheets of plywood. Like there was like 5 inches thick of just rotted wood I cleaned up. So I have this now, instead of going down past the house, this is going to go to a retention pond. And we're going to do another, while he's gone, I'm going to do a relief on the back, and we're going to do another retention pond because the land does go down as it goes. This is where the water went even before I did this. When he bought this, there was a freak rainstorm, like 5 inches in 24 hours, and the underneath of that house was literally full of water. Over here, actually where I'm standing, was probably 8 inches deep of water. So we're just trying to, it's coming down through here, we just got to get it to go around things instead of through them. So I'm going to do a relief back here and another retention pond right here. I think he'll be happy. I was hoping to make it look a little bit better, but it's rained every day I've been here working. Yesterday, I'm going to guess it rained 2 inches, or I think we got 2 inches yesterday in one day. Like I said, it's kind of a cool project. I wish we could have done a little more with it. There's a little bit of standing water here and there, but not a lot I'm going to do about it. All that rain yesterday come off the steel roof and kind of filled the ditch I dug. But overall it is draining. So, and I left it deep enough so he can, when he sets the pipe, he can get it so that it all drains out here. Alright, now we just got to clean out all this mud before we haul it. I don't want this on the trailer and flying off the trailer because we're pretty far from home, so take a shovel, it's a pain in the butt, but you got to get that all cleaned out of there. Alright, we're going to wrap this job up. A little messier than I would have liked to have left it, but we had so much rain this week. Every day I worked here it rained, and I got to be out of here today, so I wish I could have left the machine here, but it's just too far away from my house. Smoothing it out, it's just turning into pudding the more you play around with it. But I mean, I was paid to dig out around so he could reskirt the camp, fix the rotted stuff on the bottom. They're going to put some foundation drains in. So I did what I said I was going to do. I just don't like leaving a site this messy, but not a lot you're going to do with it, with the moisture that we had the last 4 days. The water used to run down. One of the days I was here, it was raining, the water was coming down across this lawn and going down over that driveway like a river. So is a quick fix for that. I was here digging for the foundation, but I suggested, you know, if I had time, we'd dig this. Kind of ugly, but it works. It cuts the water, makes it go to that retention pond. Then when that fills, it goes to another pond. I just dug behind it. Again, I didn't leave it real pretty. We may come back in this fall when I'm slow, and we'll dress this a little bit better if he chooses to spend the money. But he's more worried about throwing the money at the house right now, and I don't blame him. So he's got to get it weather tight before winter. But we'll do a quick walk around. They weren't sure where the septic was. They weren't sure where the septic tank was. They weren't sure if it even had a legal septic, so we found out it's got an old school septic, but did have a broken pipe we fixed. Other than that, everything seems to be working. I had to replace the pipe that we found that was broke. Put a vent on the system. I think it will work better. Originally, I was thinking that the leach field was right here, and there's not really. It's a cement vault style with stone under it. That pile of rock there came from like the 14 feet of front right here, so he would have had a heck of a time digging that out. Again, we got about 2 inches of rain yesterday, so you'll see water in the hole. Again, back here is like soup. I wanted to make that water drain off, but you step anywhere near that and it's just a shit show right now, put it bluntly. But things are going to dry out the next couple days. But he just basically wanted me to get him down 6 or 8 inches below where he needed to be so he could do the skirting. Then they're going to put double foundation drain in it. I'm going to basically draw up a plan on how to do it, and he's going to try to do it on his own, which I think he can. But the type of material that's here, there's a lot of clay in the gravel that's originally here. A lot of this real brown tan color you're seeing is whoever did the hot topping brought that in. It's like a 1/2 inch processed gravel, not 3/4. But they do it to, you know, base driveways before they hot top them. So I've seen the product before. Someone must have knew somebody that did hot topping. We also found a gas line, which I suspected when I see how it's put on the house and run 2 different directions. That's not a legal gas line, so we were originally going to dig a new trench to the tank that's over on the garage, because that's where it's coming from, but it's not buried. That just goes in the ground, and then they shoved it into a piece of white water drain pipe. So what I think he's decided, he's going to have 200 pounders put on the house from the company that's going to, whoever he hires for a gas company. It's going to be cheaper than probably running trenches and burying gas lines. But anyways, I figured I'd do a quick walk around, show you where we're at. And pretty much what I was paid to do, make a mess, I guess. But he's got gravel and stone coming, so he can start working on it. And I'm going to give him a materials list of what I would use, and I think he'll do all right. We'll call the video here. Like I said, some of the stuff we do, I'm a landscape company, but we will do. I don't say no to much. I guess that's the best way to say it. Originally, I was supposed to be doing all the rotted, repairing all the rotted wood and everything, but he had sold. Now he sold it to his little brother, so they're going to deal with that themselves. It ain't a good fancy thing at the end, but I did what I was paid to do. And it's going to beat the heck out of you trying to do that with a shovel and a pick. So he thought originally they were going to dig it out with a wheelbarrow and just, you know, blow around the house, but I ran into root systems that you would have never got through. Today, just to repair the septic line, I had a Sawzall just about blowing. I got a couple blisters from it being so hot. I think they're going to have a tree company come and get rid of a couple of these trees. I don't think I hurt them enough to where they would die from digging. I was kind of careful what I did. There was a couple heavy roots that went under the house that I had to get rid of because of the septic line. But other than that, I think it's going to be a cool little project for his brother, learning experience. He'll be a good carpenter when he's done. All right, so thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. Thanks.